in the pits. It looks like they're going 4 wide to 5 wide, but they're side by side. Connor is sideways, absolutely sideways in the last few corners. Oh, but he's up in the gravel and he spins. Rob has made a bit of a dive. It actually hits teammate Craig, and so they've all got stuck in the gravel. And Joe gets the switch back. That's fantastic racing. Look at that. Contact, but it's Robbins Racing. Joe McCall takes his first ever win just ahead of Connor. A fantastic race. He's going to take 6th, or is it? Oh, he just gets him. And is Darren going to take it? No, he doesn't. Mark Nichol takes the race. Josh is the Independence champion for Season 3. Craig Kellett is your Season 3 winner and champion. Hello and welcome to the K-Tech Online Touring Car Championship. My name is Tom and as always I'll be a commentator. You join us here for round 7 of Group A at the Autopolis circuit in Japan. It's actually the second time the tourists are visiting Japan this season, but the first time the tourists will ever see this circuit. It's a 1.8 mile circuit and is the actual short layout of this particular track. Let's have a look at the entry list then and find out who is into the race. It's a 10-car entry list then for round 7 with Elliott Racing, K-Tech Racing and Team Redeem with both their cars entered in. And we have 1-car entries with Mike Kuipers for Cannon Fox Racing, HB Motorsports with Joe Burrows and Mike Comer returns for MCR Storm. For the tyre ballast situation then, Darren Parker, Craig Kellett and Tom Foster are on the hard tyres with Harry Cook, Kieran Thomas and Gary Black all on the medium tyres. Here's your grid then for race 1. Mike Kuipers gets a fantastic pole position for Kane & Fox Racing in the VW Scirocco next to Craig Kellett in the Elliott Racing Ford Mustang. Row 2 is Mike Comer in the MCR Storm VW Scirocco. Kieran Thomas is next to him in the K-Tech Racing Renault Megane. Row 3 is Joe Burrows in the HB Motorsports Hyundai Genesis next to Darren Parker in the Team Redeem Mazda Atenza. Row 4 is Tom Foster in the second of the K-Tech Racing Renault Megane next to Stephen Heath in the HB Motorsports Hyundai Genesis, and at the back row of the grid we've got Harry Cook in the second of the Team Redeem Mazda Atenzas. Okay, here we go then. It's race 1 for Autopolis, round 7 of season 4, and away they go, and it's a terrible start for Mike Comey. Barely gets off the line there and is actually going to drop down to the back, and Craig Kellett takes the lead away from Mike Kuipers, who was on pole position. And a good start for Joe, and it's also Heathy as well, who's aggressive into the first corner, and both Hyundais are off into the gravel, so Heathy drops down to the back. So Craig, look at the lead he's already got. It's a great start for him. Let's go on board with Joe Burrows, and he's just got Kieran in front of him, so Kieran already up to second, so good start for him. Oh, bit of push and shove, and the Hyundai's looking a bit stronger here than normal, so Joe will no doubt be really excited about the prospect of being up at the front, as he's struggled most of the season so far. So Kieran is right on the back of Joe. Darren here is on the side of Mike into the next right hand hairpin. And Mike Comer has progressed up, but gets pushed out by Darren, so there's a little bit of push and shove here, and Mike gets pushed back down. Tom at the back here with Stephen Heath and Harry Cook at the back in the Mazda, so not a good start for Harry. Now it's it's Heathy again into the gravel for the second time on the trot in that same corner, and he's struggling to keep the Hyundai facing forwards. So Hyundai's looking strong, but Heathy is a little bit unfortunately a bit too aggressive in that first corner. It is a difficult one. It's a blind right-hander. As he dropped down, it's very difficult to make a judgment on when to turn. So Kieran and Joe still scrapping here for second, and Kieran has just about got away from Joe, and already looking to see if he can catch up with Craig. Unfortunately, Rob, who has entered into this event, was unable to make this first race, so we will see Rob later on for races 2 and 3, hopefully. So it's still fairly close, bunched up, as Darren is 4th, Mike is 5th, Mike Kuipers is 6th, Tom is still in 7th with Heafy at the back, and that's Mike and Darren running a little bit wide. It's allowed Mike Kuipers to get on the inside and gets past Mike Comer really easily, and he's got a good bit of pace here on the back of Darren and actually looking to get past, so not quite made it, as Mike Comer, also in a VW Scirocco, now looking to get past Mike Kuipers. So the two Mikes are scrapping with Tom just behind, all three front wheel drive, and as you can see Mike Comer is all over the place with his lag, so that's not going to help Mike Kuipers and Tom behind him to try and overtake, as the inconsistency of his car positioning on the track will make it very, very difficult. And at the back here we've got Heafy and Harry really struggling, so I think we've got some footage of Harry spinning somewhere down the line. We'll have a look at the replay, as Harry unfortunately drops down with Heafy. So we've got some footage of Harry who spins off. Well, there it is, just on the grass, on the gravel, and into the wall, so that's where he lost position at the back. So back at the front then, and Craig still leading, but it actually looks like Kieran has slightly caught up. Craig was very, very comfortable and had a big gap, and Kieran has really closed that up now. Craig slightly in the dirt, and yeah, as you can see here, look at this, Kieran really looking racy, and has a good opportunity here to take the lead in the Renault Megane, and Joe Burrows still comfortable, but it's dropped off in third and is unable to keep up with Kieran. But for Joe now, he's got to try and keep an eye on Darren, as he will most definitely try and catch up, as the three here squabble for 5th between the two Mikes and Tom. Oh, Tom's off on the grass again, possibly struggling to get past Mike Comer with that lag. It's an interesting kind of kink of a corner there for the left-hander for the last bend in this short circuit layout. It's chosen due to the more sprint touring car nature of the circuit. The actual fork circuit, it's a little bit too long, so it's a long straight and then some really tight twisty turns, and the nature of this circuit does not suit the front wheel drives, as you can see. But saying that, what was that? Heafy again, really struggling. It's that first bend, as I said, it's not suiting the front wheel drives, but Kieran has managed to find some great pace here, and is now still trying to fight Craig for the lead. He's not quite got too close, and hasn't pushed to get past him yet, so on to lap 6 of 17 then. And I'll tell you what, Darren is another one who is not really had the pace yet. Maybe the Mazda's struggling as well. And oh, I think that looks, well, I thought that was Mike Kuipers in the background going off into the gravel, but he just runs wide. So Mike and Darren still having a good fight. Tom has managed to just come away from Mike Kuipers a little bit, and so the pack has spread out here. and Harry not having a great time. So this will affect him in the result. God, there's Heathy again, and no, he's lost it, completely lost it. And Stephen Heath, unfortunately, just hasn't quite got that high and diet sorted for this round here at Autopolis. Going on board with Joe Burrows. So Kieran now looking a lot closer than what he was before, and could he make a dive to get past Craig? And unfortunately not. So it looks like Kieran is closer at points, and then Craig just has got the grip, the rear-wheel drive grip round those slow corners just to kind of pull away from Kieran down that straight. He's definitely catching up. Joe Burrows doing really well here to not fall off from Craig and Kieran, and actually is keeping up in that fantastic liveried Hyundai Genesis. So Mike Comer here is looking to see if he can get past Darren. I think Darren's slightly closer to Joe, but it's difficult to really see. And unfortunately, what we've had so far is a little bit of lack of on-track racing, and that's Joe Burrows running wide onto the gravel. He does well. Oh, that's Tom as well. Tom is off into the gravel, so there's that first corner proving to be a nightmare for a few people, and Joe does really well to maintain that third and gets away with it. Darren is still dealing with Mike Comer on the back of him, and Kieran still unable to get past Craig. So as I say, lack of action so far in the middle part of this race, and a few of them nearly going off, but after that's settled we're back to square one, and I think Darren's a bit closer here to Joe, so he could potentially make a move. Mike Comer also not falling off from behind Darren either. So Mike Kuipers is going to be on his own for a little while. Tom also has dropped off, and Harry and Heathy, who's now drifting. Oh, Kieran tries to make a move from Craig, and it doesn't work, and it's actually allowed Joe Burrows into second. Kieran drops down to fifth. So we can take a look at the replay. We caught just the middle of it, unfortunately, towards the end of it, so we can have another more interesting look at the incident there with Craig and Kieran. It didn't look like there was any contact, but Kieran now down to fifth after making a really good attempt at staying with Craig, and he made a bit of a risky dive, it looked like, and it didn't work out for Kieran. So he's got lots of work now to do, down in fifth. So Darren is now behind Mike Comer as well, also noticed, but Joe Burrows promoted up to second. So can Joe maintain that second? It'd be a great result for Joe, and I think it'd be his best result so far this season for the Hyundai. And let's see if there's any contact between the two. It's got some good slipstream, goes on the outside, and yeah, I think he's outbraked himself and into the gravel, so there was no fault there with Craig. Let's go on board with Mike Comer, and we can actually already see Heathy being lapped here. Heathy, I think, is giving up, and the prospect of racing for him isn't quite where he wants it to be. Hopefully he will do the right thing and get out of the way, and he won't act up like Alex McCready did at Dragon Trail. And Heathy does move out of the way. So coming down to the last right-hander and onto lap 11. Mike Kuiper's still struggling to tag along onto the front pack here, and it's actually the front five are fairly evenly apart, but they're not close enough to actually try and race or push for any position. Mike Comer looks like he wants to make an attempt on Joe here, looking just a tiny bit quicker. And it looks like Heafy's in the pits, and that's Heafy's day done and dusted. And as you can see, Joe Burrows and Mike Comer here are fighting for second now. Mike has got that edge as they go around the last right-hander, and there's a kink again. Mike just about hangs on. Let's go on board with Darren. Mike's got the edge for the straight line speed then. Oh, small contact there. And the two of them are still side by side, and Darren's getting involved here, so a little bit of action as Mike and Joe get together, and I don't know if there's contact, but Joe Burrows is in the gravel and he's pushed down to fifth. Mike Comer was potentially involved there. I don't know if there's any contact, but Mike Kuipers has now got Joe Burrows in front of him. Joe will be devastated dropping down off the podium, and Kieran goes up to fourth. Mike Comer's up to second, and Darren is promoted up to third. So let's have a look at the replay and find out what happened, because I do wonder if there's contact involved there. It's difficult to see from the view that we had. And Joe Burrows now looking like he's on edge, he's out of his rhythm, and he's off in the gravel again, rally crossing, and whoa, Mike and Joe getting together. Look how close they are. As they slightly come together around the next corner, was there contact? Oh, I don't think there was. I think that was just Joe running into the gravel just way too fast. On board with Joe Burrows. Yeah, look, just outbrakes himself. So Mike Kuipers is just about to get past Joe Burrows. So Craig's still leading then. And Mike Comer could potentially go for the lead of the race here. Kieran and Darren still holding in third and fourth, and Kieran trying to salvage after going off earlier in the race. Oh, Kieran goes really wide. Whether that's an intentional line, he wants to try it. So Mike has got past Joe Burrows in the background. And we go on to lap 14, and there's only a few laps left of this race. And so far, it's been a quiet one, but not without its controversy. Things have spread out again, and Tom is still struggling down in seventh, and after moving up to third position in the championship after the win at the end of Red Bull. Tom will be really disappointed. Has got some work to do for race 2. Harry also, this is unusual for Harry to struggle further down. There's Heath still in the pit, so Craig Kellett is still leading this race, but Mike Comer here has got a good run on him, and he's got the pace to get past him down the straight. They're side by side as Craig has got the inside line and he gets it done. A great move by Mike there on the outside, just enough pace as Craig Kellett, who was leading this race right from the word go, and he had a good lead as well. Mike Comer has just progressed up and gets past him. So Kieran's still on the back of Darren Parker, and it's looking potentially like Mike Kuipers might have a little bit more pace towards the end here and could fight Kieran for 4th. Joe Burrows has dropped off, and as I say, disappointing for Joe after that fantastic pace he had, and looked like he was going for a first podium in this season. Joe has not shied away from podiums and wins, and actually did okay in season 2 for his first one in the Mazda. Third season he struggled a bit more in the Hyundai, but came alive later in the season and decided to stay in the Hyundai, and it's not quite worked out just yet for the two. So we're on lap 16 here, just coming round to the final few corners and then on to the final lap for the first ever time here at Autopolis. And I have to admit, it's not been the most action-packed races. Hopefully races 2 and 3 will prove to be a bit more exciting. Mike Comer still leads then. Is Craig going to make a move to try and get that win back? Darren is there in third still. Kieran unable to get past him. Mike Kuipers unable to get onto the back of Kieran just yet. Mike Comer still has that indicator going. Oh, it looks like he's just slightly run a little bit wide there to get around that corner, and still holding first. Darren still in third. Mike Kuipers, is he a little bit closer to Kieran? He's not quite there. Unfortunately, it looks like once you've dropped off after a mistake, it's so hard to catch back up, as we've got people in the background struggling. But race 1 goes to Mike Comer there here for Autopolis. Craig is second, Darren is third, Kieran is fourth, Mike is fifth. Joe Burrows gets sixth. Tom is seventh. And there will be Harry Cook in 8th, and Heathy doesn't finish the race. Mike Comer gets the win then for MCR Storm, with Craig Kellett in 2nd, Darren in 3rd, Kieran in 4th, Mike Kuipers in 5th, with Joe Burrows in 6th, Tom in 7th, Harry in 8th, and Heathy unfortunately goes into the pits and doesn't finish the race. In the points then, Darren is leading by just 5 points to Craig Kellett, who's on 259. Tom's still in third with 223, but he's only 3 points ahead of Harry. Kieran is in fifth with 215, and then a bit further back is Gary Black, Mike Comer, 195, 194. Mike Kuipers is up to 8th now, Joe Burrows 9th, and Rob is still in 10th. In the teams then, Team Redeem still continue to lead with 474. K-Tech are slightly catching, but on 430. MCR Storm in third with 383, but only 4 points ahead of Elliott Racing in fourth. Cannon Fox Racing in fifth, 262, with HB on 215, with Snap-on still in seventh, but with no cars. They don't score any points. In the Rookie Cup then, Harry still leads with 319. Gary is still in second with 261. Rob is in third, but only by 2 points after not racing in that one. And of course, Mike Comer getting the win in the rookies. Luke Knox is still in fifth.